How do great schools become great? They don't become great randomly. They do not become great by chance. How do great speakers of a language, Arabic or English or any other language, become great? By intense study and hard work, and that's what this course is going to involve. Have an intention in your mind that you are going to walk away from this class with as much useful information as you can. A better English speaker, a better thinker, a better believer in God, and for the context of our school, a better teacher at Bethlehem Evangelical Academy.
We remember stories. And so, if you want to teach wisdom and virtue, why not teach something that is going to leave a lasting impact on the person who reads it? The lessons, the themes, the motifs, the teachings are profound. And you could be even much older. You could be a professor of literature and still get something out of this. Why, after all, do you think one of the greatest books ever written, if not the greatest book ever written, is a story? You know, God could have chosen any way to explain to us about himself. He could have given us a philosophical discourse that started with chapter 1 on the knowledge of God. God is omnipotent. God is omnipresent. And had us all learn and memorize those definitions to understand him. But he didn't. He gave us a story. He said, in the beginning I created the world. I created a beautiful world that was perfect, and I put human beings in it. But human beings rebelled against me. There was a fall. Sin entered. There's a problem that needs a solution. And then God proposed a solution. He would send his son to die for fallen humanity, to restore them and to restore the creation. And this story has an ending to it. An ending we've already been told. A happy ending where at the end all of humanity is restored, the world is restored, and the kingdom of God descends to this earth. That's the way God told to tell us about himself and about his gospel. He used a story.
You know, my background is more scientific than literal. Every time there is a literature course, that means trying to analyze like what we do here in novel or something like that. I enjoy it so much.
This class is really amazing. It's very nice that I'm bringing back the memories that I've learned in Bethlehem University. I'm learning new things and we're having a great experience here. It gave me some time to think about myself. It's very nice to connect myself with the characters in the books. So I was asking myself, what's my journey in life? And yeah, I had some private thoughts.
Very nice. Yesterday we had such a fantastic day. I just wanted to say that we're so excited to be offering this course. I went home yesterday so enthusiastic about what we're learning together as a group and what I feel like we're going to learn over the next couple of weeks. And it's so great to have Mr. Michael here doing this. Thank you so much, Mr. Michael. We really appreciate it. I just want to open us in a word of prayer and then ask God's blessing on our study of the novel today. And really, I want to ask him for his help in learning the analysis of literature, in learning the English language, and most importantly of all, learning his way in the world and how we can observe that through this novel by Lewis. So let's pray together and then we'll just get started.
He's not just some Joe Schmo writing a children's story. He is someone who knows the things that he's talking about. And even though he is deeply intellectual and deeply academic, chooses to write children's stories. The important question for us then to ask, once we answer these questions about who Edmund is and who he has become, what can we learn from this? You know what, a child reading this story might say at the beginning of the story, I really like Edmund. He does the sorts of things that I would do with my siblings or with my parents or with my friends. And the point would be that they learn Edmund is not a good character. But they can see through the story how he grows and how he changes. Literature is about the search and the search for wisdom and virtue. You know, when we talk about it, it's the search for many things. truth, meaning, beauty, but particularly for our purposes, it's the search for wisdom and virtue. And when we study character, that's when we get the closest, that's when we are most making this search here. Character is where we study ourselves. It's where we are looking at what does it mean to be human. What motivates people's actions? You know, why would Edmund betray his siblings like that? What would it take for someone to betray their own family? Because, of course, it's not just Edmund who does that. We do this all the time. What motivated him to do it? What pushes people to do wrong? You know, there's a sense with Edmund. Edmund doesn't like being the younger brother who gets told what to do by his older siblings. He feels jealous. He feels angry. He feels upset. And this pushes him to doing horrendous acts, as we see. What excuses do they give to themselves? We read a little bit in chapter 4 how Edmund convinces himself that this is the right action. We will see more in chapters 5 and 6 and 7 and 8 how Edmund keeps going over in his mind that siding with the witch is the right thing to do. This, I am completely justified in this. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about ethics. He thinks he's going to become the king. But he's going to keep asking the question, who really is on the right side? You know, even though it's very obvious the witch is evil, Edmund will convince himself, no, really she's in the right, and it's everyone else who is in the wrong, and I'm really doing the good things. Because, of course, nobody does evil actions convinced of themselves of what they're doing is evil. We always do evil things convincing ourselves that we're really in the right. And so we'll watch how Edmund manages to get that into his mind so that we can ask the question, how do we do the same thing? Studying character gets us to ask, what roles are we playing in life? And more importantly, what role are we playing in the grand story? The story that God has for this world. Are we playing roles that are assisting that narrative? Are we protagonists in his story? Or are we antagonists in that story? Are we like Edmund, betraying what we know what is right? Or are we like Lucy, holding fast to the true, to the good, and to the beautiful? And what are our character arcs? How have we changed over life? Are we a static character who remains the same? And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe we have a good, true, virtuous character, and being static is an excellent thing. But if not, hopefully we're a dynamic character and we can see a character arc. That where we were 5, 10 years ago is much different from where we are now. We can see the development, whether it's growing intellectually, whether it's growing emotionally, spiritually, morally. We can see that there is a character arc to our own stories.
The homework that we gave you last Thursday is important homework because it's not just a substitution for a class day, but it's also an opportunity to practice the English language skills that we've been teaching in this class for the last week. So there were 3 levels of homework, of course. If you are beginner English, you were asked to take 10 words from the chapter and make them into original sentences, 15 with some modifications if you are intermediate. And then for those in the advanced category, writing an original short story, which I've already received a couple of those by email, and I'm very excited about them.
This is a historical event, which means that if we say it's true, it's an event which must be proven and must be verified, using the best facts from archaeology, from history, from scripture, which can then be understood and argued for logically. Because we believe in a historical event, we must hold it to logic if we are to defend this historical event. And finally, I've been mentioning a little bit, faith needs to be defended. This is something that is known as apologetics. Peter says in his second epistle, always be ready to give an answer for the hope that is in you. Be prepared to defend it. And you can't defend your faith by simply saying, I prefer it, or it gives me nice feelings. You have to be able to give reasons. This is why I believe what I believe.
Some of the texts, some of the quotations were very similar to what is written in the Bible. For instance, when he said, all shall be done. It's like, I remember that time on the cross when Jesus said that it is done, it shall be done now. Yeah. And the great forest of Aslan, the whole thing about Aslan, it looked powerful, it looked very magical. It was beyond the normal forces that we know that happens all around us. And so it gave me the sense that it is something much bigger than us, but still something that we need, something for the good, something that will lead us to, like we always look for happy endings. We always enjoy hearing about the good in the world. And Aslan really symbolizes this in the book.
When I read it when I was younger, I didn't think of it in a spiritual way. It was for fun, so it was a fairy tale mostly. But now when I'm older and maybe thinking, my thoughts have changed. The redemption of Edmund, it was, when I was younger, it was, okay, he did something wrong and then he's back, it's nothing. But now I think of what he has been through. Why was he thinking that way, and then how the redemption began for him? Because it teaches us that we are not complete. We can make faults, we can make some wrongdoings, but at the end we have the option of redemption, and we have the option to go back to God.
What is evil like? And I give evil here with a capital E, because in this case, as C.S. Lewis was trying to show us, and I believe as Scripture teaches us, evil is not just an idea, it's not an abstract concept, evil is a person. Why did C.S. Lewis give these traits to the White Witch? What is C.S. Lewis trying to show us with these things? And so we start exactly there. What is the characterization of the witch teaches about the witch? What does the physical description of the White Witch tell us about the White Witch, or tell us about evil? So let's just very briefly come up with the physical descriptions, and then we'll stop for break. What are the things that we read about that describe the White Witch?
Edmund says she's very beautiful.
She's very beautiful. Good. Very tall. Very white. Golden crown. And red lips. Good. I think we got all the ones. Very tall, wearing white fur and a golden crown. Very white with red lips, and very beautiful. One of the big things that is said about Aslan in the story is that Aslan isn't safe. You know, the children are asking, oh, Aslan, he's a lion? Is he safe? And Mr. Beaver says, safe? No. Of course he isn't safe. But he's good. What do you think Mr. Beaver meant by that? What does it mean to say that Aslan is not safe?
He can be dangerous but wise.
He can be dangerous but wise, yeah? Part of what Mr. Beaver is trying to say, or part of what C.S. Lewis is trying to tell us is that sometimes people get the idea that because Christ came out of grace and out of mercy and out of love, that he's a pushover. You know, that he just does anything that we want. He is like an old grandparent, or he's like Santa Claus, just handing out gifts no matter what you do. But the lesson is that no, he is not like that. He is the Lord of the whole wood, as Mr. Beaver says. He's dangerous. He is all-powerful. You know, we dare not, disrespect him. We dare not treat him just like some toy or some gift giver. He is dangerous. He's the creator of the whole universe. You know, I'm reminded with a statement like this of one of my favorite chapters in the book of Job. Of course, in the book of Job, Job was a man who was a righteous man, had everything taken away from him, and all his friends blamed Job and said, Job, the reason you've lost everything, your family, your possessions, is because you were a sinner. And Job says, no, I haven't committed some sin that did this. And is asking the whole time, God, why have you done this? Why have you taken everything from me? And at the very end of the book, in Job chapter 38, it says, the voice of the Lord answered Job out of the whirlwind. And God comes down and speaks to Job and says, who are you, Job, to question me? Where were you when I created the foundations of the earth? Did you create the donkey? Did you create the stars? Did you create the mountains? Do you know the dwelling place of light and the sleeping place of darkness? And of course, the answer to Job of all these things is no. I don't know anything. This is a God who is dangerous because he is God, because he is all-powerful. But he's good.